Thank you, Your Honour. Colleagues, as I have said, while more certainly needs to be done on issues arising out of earlier protests, action is being taken by governments and society as a whole. This past month in Ottawa, however, has been something different, as have been the protests in Manitoba, Alberta, British Columbia, which have come with a wide range of demands, even to taking over the government. To my mind, it was not a peaceful tone, and as we know, in Coutts, firearms were found. While crowds have been dispersed from Parliament Hill and downtown Ottawa, they do continue elsewhere, and we have all heard of the potential of their popping up in different locations. Indeed, at noon today, we received a situation advisory about what was going on at Rideau Centre. One of our members was locked into a building in which he was visiting, and an hour later, a hold and secure advisory was announced at 1 Wellington and the Senate of Canada building. The protests at the Manitoba Legislature in Memorial Park in downtown Winnipeg has drawn concern of many, including our mayor. Likewise, it too is compromising the lives of those who live in that part of Winnipeg's downtown, and if it was summer with my windows open, I too would have heard the noise and the trucks. In downtown Winnipeg, they are also unable to sleep. They have a fear of going out and have seen their neighbourhood filled with trucks. I have had many calls from my neighbours about the anxiety even their pets have. So the concerns do continue. What we have seen transpire in Ottawa since January 28th has morphed into what I see as a very misguided use of legal right to assembly, and indeed it has become a lawless occupation, which rendered the many Ottawa citizens who live downtown and in the market virtual prisoners in their homes. They faced incessant noise, threats, the pervading smell of diesel, and a fear of going out, especially when wearing their masks. I have heard of parents in different parts of Ottawa being in parks with their children and being harassed for wearing masks. Citizens of Ottawa missed work. Businesses were shut. Millions of dollars were lost, and I could go on and we could talk about the other sites as well. And I'm sure we are all aware of the harassment of our staff, especially those of visual diversities, and as was so aptly noted by Senator Moody, and I would like to say a thank you and a concern for those who work with us. I have heard my colleagues' opinions on the enactment of the Emergency Measures Act, and while I appreciate the concerns of my colleagues, I have concluded that given this unique situation, the Act is necessary at this time. We have all heard the arguments regarding whether the threshold for implementing the Act has been met. I believe that threshold has been met. Those arguments will be ongoing for a very long time after this situation has passed, and indeed we all know there are many such legal arguments playing out as we speak. My reasons for supporting the use of this instrument are not complicated. We need to uphold civic responsibilities and real freedoms fought for and died for by our parents and grandparents in the past and by our military members today. Those freedoms come with responsibilities, as Senator Cordy said earlier.
I believe that the objectives of the Emergency Measures Act have been adapted to respond to the troubles that confront us today. Whether they are targeted to specifically deal with those who occupied our capital, who constituted a threat for our international trade, and therefore for our economy, under the cover of truckers who, the vast majority of which are opposed to these troubles.
I do not believe we should be subject to foreign donors funding civil unrest in Canada. I quite frankly am upset by the number of people who are part of this occupation who have come from beyond our borders, and I am very aware of the many American license plates that were here in Ottawa and are currently in Winnipeg. We are a sovereign nation, and we should expect our government to defend that sovereignty. This, for me, is a basic concept. The measures expire in 30 days. The Act is subject to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and Parliament will have the ultimate say in approving implementation and repeal of the Act while monitoring its use. These measures seem a reasonable response to what has become an unreasonable situation for many Canadians. Colleagues, the spreading of disinformation amongst our population regarding public health measures during a pandemic, which has taken the lives of so many, is very concerning. We have all been touched by those who have died or been terribly ill with this virus, and we can't count the number of families who have had their lives changed irrevocably. Not to be vaccinated at this point, despite the scientifically proven effectiveness of vaccine, is extremely disappointing. The anti-vaccine rhetoric, which has been shared online for any variety of unscientific reasons, has become tremendously concerning. There is no easy solution to this, and it will remain an obstacle to our recovery. That is unfortunate. This country is very close to reaching the finishing line regarding the virus. We have come to this point through following public health guidelines, getting vaccinated, staying home when requested to, missing family time, forgoing travel, through sacrifice out of respect for one another's health and well-being. We have come too far to make these sacrifices not pay off for more normal times, which we all want and need. This is not the time to shut down trade, as the convoy forced. This is not the time to occupy the nation's capital, as it has. This is not the time to make life worse for everyone here, as was done, especially when we were all so close to the end game. These actions are not helpful. They are preoccupying us all when we should be working together to restore our economy, our lives, and not be divided.
I cannot help but end on this note. Thank you to the vast majority of Canadians who followed the guidelines throughout this pandemic. Thank you to those who made the sacrifice to get us to where we are now. Thank you to those Canadians that put their neighbor first and got vaccinated.
Thank you to all those who went to work, kept our hospitals and health systems going in the most difficult of times, those who kept food on our tables and our children learning, either at school or at home. I really want to thank our frontline workers who cared for us through this ordeal. We are indebted to you. I also want to pay a heartfelt tribute to the police these past days, who undertook a complex initiative with care, honesty, transparency, and professionalism. I applaud the many forces from various parts of the country which have joined together to make our capital ours again. While sad that we need this motion, I am supporting it. Thank you.